The Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 749 points, or 2.5%. The S&P 500 rose 2.4%, and the Nasdaq Composite was up 2.3%. Friday's gains extended the market's gains for the week. The 10-year Treasury yield surged to its highest level since 2008. Before we continue, if you enjoyed watching the video, please share your thoughts by clicking the like button and writing them in the comments section below. If you subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell, you will be among the first people to find out when new videos are published on the channel. So let's just get started. UK retail sales fell for the second month in a row in September as consumers revolted at runaway inflation, pushing the country closer to recession. Sales fell 1.4% in real terms, that is, adjusted for inflation, as inflation ran at a rate of over 10%. Core retail sales, which exclude fuel and vehicle sales, were likewise down 1.5% on the month and down 6.2% from a year ago. The figures were also affected by the death of Queen Elizabeth II, which saw many retailers shut during a week of national mourning. Net public sector borrowing surged to £19.25 billion, $21.5 billion, well ahead of forecasts of £12.3 billion. The yield on the benchmark 10-year gilt rose 15 basis points to 4.04% at the start of trading on Friday in London. The reading was at its highest level since September 2014. Including fuel and food costs, both of which have surged substantially this year, CPI inflation grew 3% in the month, remaining unchanged from September. The reading marks the sixth straight month that inflation has risen above the central bank's 2% annual target. But the yen remained under pressure from a widening gap in local and international interest rates. The Japanese currency slumped to a new 32-year low on Friday, crossing the psychologically important 150 level to the dollar. The Bank of Japan is set to decide on monetary policy later this month. Verizon Communications Incorporated, NYSE, VZ, posted a 23% slide in third-quarter profit and missed market estimates for wireless subscriber additions. Several customers opted for cheaper plans from rivals AT&T and T-Mobile US. The carrier's net income for the quarter fell 23.3% to $5 billion. Verizon added 8,000 net new monthly bill-paying wireless phone subscribers in the quarter, well below FactSet estimates of 35,400 additions. American Express reported on Friday third-quarter earnings that beat analysts' forecasts and revenue that topped expectations. Earnings per share of $2.47 on revenue of $13.60. American Express shares are down 12% from the beginning of the year, still down 28.63% from its 52-week high of $199.55 set on February 16. Oilfield services provider Schlumberger reported a 64.9% jump in third-quarter profit on Friday. The company said its adjusted earnings and pre-tax segment operating margin of 18.7% were the highest since 2015. Brent crude prices averaged $98.96 a barrel during the quarter, up 33%. The average U.S. oil rig count at September end climbed to 762 from 508 during the same period last year. shares in L'Oréal SA, EPA, AREP, dropped on Friday after the French cosmetics group flagged that COVID-19 lockdowns in China had impacted performance at its Luxe division. Sales at Luxe rose 4.6% like-for-like during the period to €3.61 billion, below consensus estimates of 9%. The Clichy-based company said returns at the business hit by repeated COVID restrictions in China and its Hainan province over the summer. French carmaker Renault said on Friday its sales rose to €9.8 billion, $9.57 billion, in the third quarter. Group revenues grew by 20.5% when adjusted for the disposal of its former Russian unit Avtovaz. Renault recorded its best-ever price effect as quarterly vehicle sales decreased by 2.4% from last year. Toyota Motor Corp said on Friday its annual vehicle production was likely to come in below its initial target. A persistent global semiconductor shortage hampers efforts by the world's biggest carmaker by sales to boost output. The Japanese company has been under scrutiny over whether it can stick to its annual production target of a record 9.7 million vehicles. The dollar index, which tracks the greenback against a basket of 6 other currencies, rose 0.1% to 112.980. The U.S. Federal Reserve is widely expected to continue its aggressive interest rate hikes at its next meeting in early November. This hawkish talk pushed US dollar to Japanese yen to 32-year highs above 150, currently standing 0.2% higher at 150.41. UK retail sales fell for the second month in a row, pushing the country closer to recession, as consumers reined in spending to cope with runaway inflation. Euro to US dollar fell 0.1% to 0.9770 after European Union leaders again failed to come to an agreement to cap gas prices. The region is struggling with high energy prices driving inflation, likely prompting the European Central Bank to act more forcefully. US dollar to Chinese yuan rose 0.4% to 7.2472, trading near a 14-year high, amid growing uncertainty over the Chinese economy. Front-month futures for the Dutch TTF contract, which serves as a benchmark for Northwest Europe, were down 9.9% at €114.60 a megawatt-hour. They are approaching the low of 107.3/MWh that they hit earlier in the week. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz dropped his opposition to EU Commission proposals, backed by France and others, to apply a dynamic price cap to the TTF and other futures contracts. But longer-dated TTF contracts have fallen by less, reflecting expectations that it will be harder to replenish storage next year. It is set to be the first full year in 4 decades without meaningful volumes of Russian gas. Gas prices are still 5 times where they were before the start of the Ukraine crisis.